All right, so this is personalities and game plans of BBNaija season 10 housemates. I have done episode 1 of this particular um, session. So it featured Dede, Sultana, Jason J, and Kola. I mean, you can check it out. So this is episode 2. And this particular episode features Mensan, also known as Kill the Chicken. Kill the chicken, kill the chicken. Yeah. And then the next one is Ivatar the DJ. The third one is Kaybobo, and then the fourth one is Thelma Lawson. Anyway, welcome to the hardest stakes. My name is the man in the mirror. Just in case you don't know, I'm here to touch your soul.
It's the handsome baby. Listen.
All right, so welcome back. Mensan was the last person who entered the house, and I mean his entrance was fire. When he entered, I mean he had his African attire, and I mean he was nicely dressed. I liked his attire, or I liked his fit. It was looking very nice and sharp, and then his his entrance was one of the best I have seen on the show so far. And what even elevated the whole excitement was the kill the chicken vibe. Kill the chicken, kill the chicken, kill the chicken, kill the chicken. I was wondering, I'm here wondering which chicken they were trying to kill. Kill the chicken, kill the chicken. Yeah, so that's one of his major highlights. I mean, I think that particular thing brought attention to him. Or I mean, it just gave him some some spectacle or some fans, or it won him some fans out there. For me, I was blown away by his entrance and I mean how he introduced himself to the house. Mensan of Africa. Yeah, so Mensan, I mean Mensan for Mensan, um, I mean, he made it clear that he had a girlfriend outside the house, so he didn't want to delve into or engage in any situationship or ship, as we call it. I mean, he didn't want to get attached to anyone, and so he was just being in the house doing his thing. And at some point, Ivatar decided to just be in the picture, but I mean, based on the respect he had for his girlfriend outside the house, he didn't want to entertain. Let me use the word entertain. He didn't want to entertain Ivatar or trying to set the mood for that particular, ship thing. So it got to a certain point in time where they became, I mean, from friends to enemies. They became enemies. And I mean, living with your enemy in the same house is a very difficult thing to do. I wonder how they're able to live together. There was that feud, from friends to enemies. It was that crazy, and so they didn't see eye to eye. It was crazy, and I thought I vitally needed that support or emotional support. And because of how he spoke to me, or she spoke to Manson for, I mean, she felt comfortable around Manson, but Manson said, no, 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 please, please, madam, please, 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 please. Yeah. So he didn't want that particular attachment. And so that created a bit of, confusion between them. And Manson had a few fights in the house. I remember he fought with Joanna. He had a fight with Kaybobo as well. And I mean, one of the major highlights of Mensan was that circus game. Whoa, that guy blown. I mean, his performance that night was extraterrestrial. He took my breath away. And I remember when Biggie gave him plaudits. Biggie gave him, I mean, that performance from what he displayed that night. Wow, I was surprised. I didn't know he had that particular talent. And yeah, so I mean, that particular night was crazy. I mean, it was crazy. And I'll talk about his fit. Menson was one of the one of the guys whose fits were very, very top notch. His fits were top notch. I mean, anytime he put on the African thing, he had that uniquely distinct um feature around him, or that he had an aura around him. And when he is not African, or when he puts on even casual stuff, or let me say even formal stuff, I mean, he was able to work it very well. And I mean, Saturday nights, the parties, he was looking dapper. And so I believe his strategy, one of the strategies, I mean, for you wouldn't, I mean, it's very difficult to tell his strategy in the house, but I believe that one of the things that he came into the house to do was to look dapper and look fly. And yeah, that reminds me of this guy, um, White Money. White Money also used to dress very nice, but White Money used cooking strategy to do the thing. But Mensan had that. I mean, I believe one of the things that he wanted to do in the house was to look dapper. And so for him, you can't really pinpoint the exact thing that his game plan was. I believe he just came to just have fun. I believe he didn't have a specific strategy, but yeah, along the lines he tried to build friendship here and there, and he didn't really have like an attached click that he okay when I wake up in the morning this is my click. He didn't have one. I believe that's also another strategy of his. He didn't want to be attached to. I mean, he wanted to be be here, be here, be here, be here. Yeah. So I mean that's for Mensan. Kill the chicken. Kill the chicken. We are killing more chickens in the house. Yeah. So the next one is Ivatar. Ivatar the DJ. And for Ivatar, um, because I want to believe that because of her age, um, he felt a bit isolated. Not even a bit. He was isolated. He was always in isolation, and that came as a surprise to me because you've come from wherever you were and then you are in the house to play a game, then you isolate yourself from your housemates. And I want to believe age is a factor. And the other factors I can't tell, but perhaps maybe she didn't like their energy. But she was vibe though. I just feel if Manson had given her that emotional support, we would have seen a different avatar altogether. But she was dull in the house. I didn't. I'm sure he didn't really get. She didn't really get a lot of screen time because of how she was always in isolation. It's like she had COVID. She was. It's like a quarantine. Charlie, social distance. Yeah, social distancing in the Big Brother house. It was that crazy. For me, I feel she had something within that. If she had that thing from the onstart, we would have seen a different avatar altogether. And oh, she had a lot of tattoos on her, a lot of piercings, and she didn't look Nigerian. Um, she didn't look Nigerian. I want to believe that how she reacted also perhaps maybe have been influenced by maybe SA culture. I stand to be correct. I think she lived in SA for some time before coming to Nigeria. So I want to believe perhaps the culture there may not have been or may not have aligned with the culture in I don't know. I'm just it could be a factor because for me, I knew that girl. I just feel that she had something within that could have been extraordinary. I mean, she could have brought something better to the show. Iwata didn't have a game plan. I mean, I remember some time ago she felt frustrated. She wailed. I mean, she could if he had brought a bucket, the bucket would have been filled up. I mean, she was just frustrated. She went into the diary room, complained to Biggie like she was frustrated. She needed a psychologist. It was crazy. And I understand being in a house with 28 people, everybody is doing with different personalities. Charlie, it'd be crazy. If you don't have that mental fortitude or mental strength, you will definitely break down. And so she broke down, and I believe that um, she had or she confided in what's this guy's name? Kaybobo. And so that particular week where she had a thing with Kaybobo, I believe that week was her best week in the house because she really enjoyed herself from talking to Kaybobo, spending time on the bed, or in bed, pool parties. She was with that Kaybobo. Saturday night, she was with Kaybobo. Unfortunately, she was evicted the following Sunday. So we didn't see, but I want to believe that she really enjoyed herself during that particular week. That was the support that she was looking for um in Mensan, but unfortunately Mensa didn't do anything. His emotional support was zilch. Yeah, so for me I like Iwata. I just wish maybe they would have just given her an opportunity to DJ maybe one of the Saturday the pool party, or maybe Saturday night. But unfortunately, she didn't have the opportunity to do that. Yeah, so let's move on to Kaybobo. Yeah, so Kaybobo, from the onstart, I remember when he came into the house. I mean, not even before the house, and I mean during the introduction when they went on stage. I remember what he said vividly. He said that he is here to scatter ships, but unfortunately, he didn't even scatter any ship. The man decided to just, I mean, from the onset or the initial, I mean, he was just causing chaos. I mean, he was had fights with a lot of people in the house, and he even cried. And then he was part of the reason why they called the show BBNaija Tears. The tears season, everybody was crying. Koyi cried, Kaybobo cried. It was like, what is happening? First week, second week, everybody's crying. Why? Yeah, so Kaybobo, I mean, because of on the back of his aggressiveness and the ferociousness, he was tagged a bully. So I believe, I don't know, but as time went on, he decided to just tone down. We didn't see that side of Kaybobo. We saw the soft side of Kaybobo. I think from week 4 or so. I mean, he just cooled down and then played his game. So we didn't see that Kaybobo. Kaybobo's strategy was to come and cause scatter ships, but he wasn't able to scatter anything. He was just so yeah. But fortunately, he had a ship with Ivatar. Unfortunately, Ivatar left, and then he had a thing with um, Thelma Lawson. And so he also enjoyed his moments in the house. I mean, he was the guy who was just grilling the chicken for them during pool parties. And I mean, he was fun sometimes. During the Saturday night, he was fun sometimes. And so, yeah, when it came about, he didn't also really have a game plan. I mean, I thought, yeah, he didn't really have a game plan like that. But I mean, I like how he cooled down, he mellowed. I mean, because the initial stages there, I didn't really like his vibe. And I remember, I mean, outside on Twitter, people were saying, I mean, his fans were saying he's not a bully. He was either he was provoked, or I remember um this guy, Pere, yeah, Pere was in support of him and saying that no, the guy is not a bully, blah 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 blah, and all that. Yeah, but yeah, so he was able to make it to the top 10, courtesy the red telephone. I mean, that particular red telephone, I mean, gave him a free ticket into the final. So he made it to the final. But his unfortunately his ships with the people didn't last. Like Ivatar, that same week Ivatar left. He has a thing with Thelma Lawson. Thelma Lawson also left. So I mean, it became some way for him in the house. Yeah, so that is it. That was cool. So let's touch the last but not the least, Thelma Lawson. Hmm. Thelma Lawson. Okay, so Thelma Lawson is such a brilliant girl. She speaks very well. I want to believe that, I mean, she's someone who likes to read. She's also a philomath, someone who likes to learn. And so, and the more you learn, the more you gain knowledge. I mean, she is a very brilliant girl, very smart as well. And sometimes the way she carries herself, you might, perceive her otherwise, but she's a very brilliant girl. She also had a couple of feuds. I mean, she had one with, I mean, her feud with Isabella was a long-standing one because of, that particular uh, prince. So, Kaikumi. So, because of that, she had back and forth with Isabella. They went at each other a couple of times in the house. I mean, she also had feud with Faith. Yeah, Faith, another stubborn guy in the house. So yeah, she had a feud with Faith, and I mean, Charlie, Thelma Lawson. So Thelma Lawson too, I was not able to detect her game plan per se, but I also felt maybe she also at some point she needed, that companion to. I thought maybe the ship was a strategy, but she was struggling to have one, and so she needed that particular companionship. And then she didn't get, but later she had it in Kaybobo. So the other thing was also for me. She also used to dress very nice, and He also used to dress very nice, and she also used to dress very sexy. And so yeah, but she was also another. She was very blatant. She was brutally honest. She didn't hide her feelings. She sometimes caused chaos a bit, like with her utterances. But yeah, she was cool. Very very cool, very brilliant girl. And so yeah, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, kindly subscribe for more content. I'll do episode 3 of this particular video. Yeah. So my name is the man in the mirror. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. I am Aldi.